specifically obtaining credit card information. The second one, there was a company that was targeted. I don't know if you remember the movie The Interview, but it was pulled, Sony pulled it from release because hackers were specifically threatening them. And they did, the FBI said that North Korea did attack Sony as a result of wanting to put the movie out. The third one is, I thought was interesting because the New York Post and the UPI, United Press International, their Twitter accounts were hacked. So what people will say, well, big deal. But if you think about it, these are news agencies that put out news regularly. And if people can take control of their accounts, they can incite panic to the public who are reading things. And then the last one just shows that the NSA and the GCHQ, its British counterpart, they hacked a SIM card manufacturer, which allowed them to eavesdrop on cell phone conversations. So there's a lot of hacking going on. These are just 4 representatives of them, but there are many more out there that I just didn't have the opportunity to go into. All right. I'll come into the next one. Okay. So are you the next to be hacked? The average cost of a malware incident, small to mid-sized businesses say, who wants to hack me? But the costs are, it's on average, $56,000 for a small and mid-sized business if they get hacked. And that's because of lost productivity. It could be loss of information and a whole variety of other things. For a large corporation, that number is about $650,000. Here are the different threats. I don't want to go through them. You've probably by now heard of most of them. I mean, there's viruses which come in the form of worms and trojans. There's something called an explorer, which enables software to capture throat. So if you're typing in logins and passwords, they can find them. There's rootkits that is activated just your computer. There's adware, which are pop-ups, probably most of you have seen. And then there's phishing, which is fake websites designed to trick you. And all of this information, all of these viruses and malware are actually secretly installed on your PC, whether you're searching the web, whether you're reading email, and just in your daily activities. So what happens if the system's compromised? Well, if you think about it from a business owner, your business, your company credit cards could be hacked, your banking information can be taken, and your company financials can be taken. From a human resource perspective, your employee files could be at risk, and from a legal perspective, your corporate documents and contracts, and also your company confidential information, your trade secrets, your processes, can all be taken if someone gets into your system. So what effect does that have? You can get damaged reputation. A lot of times, if you're hacked and customers' information is taken, we need to go to them and say, hey, my system was hacked. I had your confidential information on it. And that just damages your reputation. The second thing is you could lose customers over it. There's also fines that can be done if you're governed by any regulatory, if you're under any regulatory restrictions. There's penalties. Your credit rating can be affected if happens with credit cards and banking, and also your business valuation can be affected or your stock price. That happens with Target and Sony. So a lot can happen to damage a company. So here are some best practices that I put together. The first one is talking about IT planning and education. So you should have security policies in place. And we'll probably talk more about that later. There's regulatory requirements that need to be met in some cases. PCI compliance to take credit cards, HIPAA compliance if you're in the medical industry, financial regulations if you're in the financial services business. And then you really, one thing that somebody doesn't think, that most people don't think about, is that your IT plan should coincide with your business plan. So if you're planning to expand your business or contract your business, your IT should follow. So if you're opening new offices, what does that mean from an IT perspective? How do you keep security up? Also, employee education. It's one area that most people overlook. Employee education is important because you want to educate your employees on what not to click on and when things are safe to click. The next thing is physical security. I'm sorry, network security. The first thing is physical security. This is another thing that no one thinks about, really. You know, you have cleaning people coming in at night. If someone could come in your office and be able to get in, get into your server closet or equipment room, you take equipment out without you even knowing it, or without alerting or doing the cleaning. So you really need to make sure that all of the important things on doors, that everything is secure from a physical access. Next thing is having a good business-grade firewall router, and then doing regular vulnerability and penetration testing to make sure that it's protecting your internal network. If you do have wireless capability within your office, you want to make sure it's encrypted with code, and also give guest access. You want to give them separate, what they call guest network access. They don't need a code, but they can only get to the internet. They can't get to your network if they connect wireless. The next thing is a lot of companies are allowing their employees to bring their own devices. That comes from cell phones, tablets, and even their own laptop. If you do allow that, you should have a policy for that. You should make sure that all the equipment that has access to your company information has PIN security as a minimum. That's when you turn your cell phone on, you should be able to put in a PIN number, or you have vital metrics. That's even better, where you scan for a fingerprint or an eye scan. You also want to have remote wipe and lockout capability on that device, so that it does get compromised. You can remotely wipe the information that's on it. You also want to have privacy and security apps on those remote devices to keep hackers from getting in. The next thing is, if you're going to connect to the internal network of your company remotely, you want to have a secure VPN to connect to the office, get office data from the outside. And that comes in many forms. It could be something that your IT gives you. A lot of times, your internal network will come with a certain number of licenses for VPN, or you can use an outside service to make sure that the service, that the transmission is secure and then connect. The next thing is, from a systems administration standpoint, you have a good permission structure with strong passwords. You want to make sure that the permission structure is logical, so that it gives people access to the information they need to do their job, and not too restrictive, where you're always having to make exceptions so that they can get the information they need. You want to have a timely patch management of all your devices, and that includes your laptop, desktop, server, your cell phone. Make sure that your cell phone software is up to date, but they just need more and more updates to that. Also, you want to have antivirus for active, any malware software on all your devices, and spam control service. So that means stopping malicious email prior to it getting into your inbox. There are services that you can get that will filter the spam before it even gets into your internal network or into your Exchange system or email. The next thing is, using public Wi-Fi. A lot of people, want access to the company files from outside. I've already talked about using a VPN service for software. If you have to use a hotspot when you're accessing company information, I would suggest you use your own. That comes in the form of, a device that you can get from your cell phone carrier, or you can use your cell phone itself. A lot of them these days will enable you to have it become a hotspot you connect your laptop to. The next thing is when you do connect to a public Wi-Fi, that you use the public firewall setting. A lot of times you'll get a pop-up that says, are you on your own network, a public network? You always want to check off public network because that makes the firewall restrictions a lot more stringent on the device you're using. And then, cell phone and tablet management. A lot of times you'll have company information on your cell phone or your tablet, and that might be in the form of, you might have a company address book for using Outlook. You could have calendars and have different files that you might have access to, either in an offline manner or even when you're connected live to be able to access. You want to make sure that that those devices are kept secure so that they're not vulnerable to getting information. And then the other thing is, a lot of people download different apps on their cell phone and on their portable devices, and you really have to look at the permissions that you're giving each app as you download it. A lot of people just say, yes, I just want this app and do it. They don't really pay attention to the permissions that they're actually giving the app. And in some cases, you're giving them administration rights, which enables them to have access to all the information on your phone or tablet. That's really critical. You really have to be careful with this one because a lot of people, already have downloaded apps, and they really haven't paid much attention to what permissions they're giving to the apps. And that's it. That's all I have for you today. I do have a number of bonuses that request. I will mail them to you, or maybe Marshall speak with that send out. Anyone who's doing the presentation today. Okay.